Hey, it's Charlie here in my shed. So yeah, I did today, none of the siding is nailed on. I ended up putting this double frame. It's a perfect 75-inch, 72-inch frame all the way around it. See the screws that I put in? I made sure those are all flush all the way around the door frame there. Double studded. I added a stud up here, and then see, you got double studs. See those side studs? I had to add those in. I added those in, and along with this stud on the back of this door frame stud. And then these are all screwed in. I used up the last of these construction screws for this door, and they're all double. That's what I finished. This double studding and those horizontal boards are going to be for the hinges for the door, which are going to be, it's got to have something to screw the hinges into. It's solid, so so you use the hinge, those horizontal stud for the hinges of the door, for the door. And then I finished the roof today too. Did the last of it. I did the crown up on top, so it's done. You can see all the gazillion freaking nails that I use on that freaking thing. And not to mention the ones in the crown are up there too. And then yeah, triple stud on the side. That third one up there is for the siding, that triangular siding piece up there. There's one on both ends. I had to see their model, and then I was like, oh, I know what that's for. Some of, they didn't give me enough of those angle things up there to go one on each side. I seen one guy over here, he did both of the, he put one of those on both sides of each stud. I was thinking that that's what I was going to be doing, but it's not what I ended up doing. They only gave me enough to do one on each side, which was enough. I put one on one side, one on the other, and it seemed to do okay. And the siding, this piece is the door is wider than this full sheet. So this one gets marked at top because you have to mark this lapping on this. This is a overlap and an overlap, and that's an underlap. So the door, it goes up like this, over this. Then you cut it to fit this top double beam up here, or double door frame. I didn't worry about that because that thing is so solid in there. You can do chin-ups off that. And then anyway, this door, it rotates up. You cut it off to where it fits up under this eave up here, and then cut it right at the top of this at the bottom of this double joint. That's where you cut this siding piece off. Horizontal, make a line. You just measure it and cut it off at this height right there, and then you got to take a little bit off the bottom to miss the blocks in the ground. And then this is going to be a full, it's their model has a piece of siding that comes under the door. I'm not going to do that. This is actually going to cover the floor and the joist that the shed sits on so that they don't get rained on. That's what the door is going to do. It's going to go past that. It's going to be down to just above the blocks. That way it's protected from the rain running down the wall. So I'll show that later. And then this siding here, it's going to have to be cut short somewhere, because this piece of siding that's in the middle of the two doors isn't wide enough to cover the whole door, so it's going to be about right. It's like somewhere about like this much. You cut this much off. You add this to the door frame when you build it. This overlap fits in the underlap. Then you nail it into this trim work. This stuff here, the 1x4s, you attach the two into a one-hole door, and this is going to cut flush. Then you put the hinges in here with a piece of trim over this way on the hinges. Then you hang the door. You put a block underneath it to hold it in place, and then put the door up here and put the hinge screws in. But this piece here has to be marked and cut out so it can be added to the build of the two doors. And then this piece also has to be split down the middle, so it'll be cut short the height of this one, that up there across the top, and then split down the middle for the door. And that should do it for the door. The makeup pieces are going to be these. If there's an inch or half an inch of difference here, these are what's going to eat the difference. I'll cut it shorter, narrower. I'll cut this narrower so that it'll fit the door. It shouldn't though, because it's 12 foot. These add up. It should fit just fine. Because when you cut it, it takes 1/8 of an inch right there. So if you cut it twice, that's a 1/4 of an inch that is going to be shorter for the door, and that's where the hinges are going to be. So you probably won't have to cut anything short. And then so that's that. Yep. Cut this mark, cut this on the top and down the middle. Mark this for the width of the door plus these two here. Cut in with a piece there, down, and then same for that one. Cut it over and down, all the way to the ground, all the way to the end. That way it covers. We're going to cover up the bottom part down here where the block is. That's why the door is going to swing over that, and then the door is going to be, so basically it's going to look like this with the door closed. It's going to be over the face. It's going to be trimmed like 1/2 an inch, just enough to clear that block over the door. Because see, there's two block. There's a block down there. The door has to clear both of those blocks. So it's going to be like 1/4 inch off the bottom to clear the blocks, and then on the hinges, it'll fit. But yeah, it'll look like that, and it'll be blocked by the rain will keep that stuff from getting wet. That'll be that. And then all the trim work. There's also a bunch of trim work that goes on the corners. I could have already done that one over there. This part up here is done. The facings, these are done. I gotta do the corners and the door for trim with trim. The trim work you use for the doors also where the hinges are. And then the trim work also goes, I gotta look at where all the trim work goes. I'll probably drive by there again and look at the trim work. That's where I'm at. I gotta cut this siding so I can start nail that on, nail those two sides on, and then start constructing the door.